Alright, golf fans, so have you ever thought, man, I really want to see some content about an overweight 40-year-old with a terrible back try to make the Missouri Amateur for the first time? Because if you have ever thought that, this is your show right now. Right now, I want to chronicle my journey of trying to get back into the sport that I absolutely love and show you what it takes, get a little behind the scenes of my quest to finally make it in the Missouri Amateur. I've got close several times. Many times I've been, 2 shots short. Last time I played was about 4 years ago. I started the day off. It was cold. It was rainy. It was in June, and by the time I was off the range, I was already soaking wet. But in fact, my hands were so wet that whenever I got to the first tee, I actually topped my first tee ball. I was playing at Twin Oaks in Springfield. I stone cold topped my first shot. My buddy who was caddying for me, he was trying to hold it in. It was disastrous at first, is the way that it looked like it was going to go. I topped that shot. Then the next one, I hit maybe 100 yards. I was still having a hard time. It went right into the thick rough, and it was raining. And I ended up hitting the third one into the bunker, and then I got up and down for a bogey. And I actually, it rained through the first 9. We were completely soaked. Then we had about a 3.5 hour rain delay. We went to Denny's or something like that. Got dried up, went back, and I missed the cut by 2 strokes. There was over half the golfers that got to start in the afternoon. That's how it goes, Sometimes you get handed the great cards. Sometimes you got to struggle. With me, I was happy that I pushed through and got close. I think the cut was 76 or 77, so I was like 2 over from that. Then a few months later, I ended up hurting my back so bad that I couldn't hardly walk for about 3 or 4 months, and it's taken about 2 years to get to the point where I could do anything at all. Over the last 8 months or so, I've been rehabbing it every day myself. I'm constantly doing stretches, working on my posture, trying to lose some weight. I know that's taking some weight off is gonna help a lot. But just doing everything that I can to get my body into shape to where I can go play. And so that's kind of what this channel is gonna be about. Today, I am on my way to one of the top club fitters in the United States. That's Grips Golf in Springfield, Missouri. They are amazing. Ryan there is a top-notch, outstanding guy, and their customer service is awesome, and he just knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, he's reading my mind. He knows everything about my swing before I even tell him what I'm thinking, just in what he sees, and the marks he sees on the clubs, he knows what's going on. So he's amazing. I'm looking forward to starting there. I'm gonna hit some balls at the range first to get a little warmed up. Like I said, I've got a bad back, so I've got a baby, and I've got to stretch it as much as I can before I get started and get it loosened up. But I'm gonna try my hardest to post every day. I try my hardest to practice every day. So follow if you want, and I think June, I might have to look at the date, June 5th or somewhere right around there is the date for the qualifier. I'm going to play in Poplar Bluff this year. Westwood Hills, I think, is the course. So, and then I have a practice round in May. But if you want to stay tuned and see if I can finally make it at the age of 40, right before I turn 41 this summer. We'll see if we can make this thing happen. So stay tuned. All right, so first I was off to the range, really working a lot on tempo right now. As you can tell with the shorter irons, tempo's a little better. As I progress through the driver, I really am out of rhythm right now. And 3-wood seems to be okay, but after hitting the range for about 45 minutes, then it was straight off to Grips Golf. This is the parking lot. They have a really nice setup in here, and then I'll just kind of let you listen into a little bit that we talked about. Right out of the gate,
what does he see? That's what he sees. Everything else is. Right? He sees this. So he, as the golfer, is saying that he feels like his ball goes really high and floats. It doesn't. It's just launching really high, right? Now, that's probably 99% due to his back. Okay, he has incredible hands. You can already tell that right away, right? Yeah. Because what he's saying shouldn't be happening, but it is. So he's got incredible hands, right? Yeah. So perfect. Those two. Okay. So. Okay. So once again, if the fit didn't work, this couldn't happen, right? So what he is experiencing is launch, right? The ball is launching 5 degrees way too high. Yeah. Now, can I take that away? Yes, I can. Is it going to hurt his back? Yes, it will. Yeah. Right. So then you kind of have that give and take situation, right? Like, there is not a dang thing I would change with what he's got right now at all, other than he could probably benefit from, yep, you're exactly right. He could probably benefit from not playing that chrome or that super soft or chrome soft, right? Because essentially everything is absolutely perfect with his golf swing, golf shot, and except for he's launching it, right? So Chris, you're listening. I know I'm not going to beat around the bush. There is nothing wrong with those golf clubs.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, are there things that we can help technology-wise with newer golf clubs? 100% there are. $800 budget? No, right? But, and I don't mean that way. I'm just saying, right? Your delivered loft is perfect. Your ball speed is perfect. Where you feel like my ball is going really high and floating, your spin rate's absolutely perfect, right? Okay. You launch the ball really high and hit it really high. Now, you probably heard me say this. In order for me to bring that down, your back will hate me.
Right. I don't want that.
Right.
My back already hates me from 4 swings. So.
Right. So it's one of those that the first thing I want to do is I do want to try a lower spin golf ball that's going to launch lower. Okay? Because really your delivered loft is absolutely perfect. Your ball speed is perfect. You launch the ball high with perfect spin, right, for how high you launch it, and you hit it high, right? Okay. In order for me to bring that down, I've got to go heavier, stiffer. Yeah. You're going to feel it, right? And you're going to hate me, and your back's going to hate me. Now, we could also talk about going graphite, right, and reshafting those. My thing on that end would be, it ain't worth it, right? Yeah. It would be, wait till you're ready to buy a new set of irons and get what you need, because at that point you're going to think you're going to spend $500, $600 on just shafts for those irons for a set of clubs that might be worth $300. Obviously, in your mind, backtracking, right? And wrong, back problems, yada. Complains that he's hitting the ball too high, feels like the ball's spinning on him, so on and so forth. You know, like I said, when you were back there, he said he felt like he was very inefficient with his wedges, so not the right bounce or type of bounce on the wedge to help him hit the shot better. So his struggle that he said is he feels like he can't hit the long irons very good, right? So without me testing golf ball yet, I want to see where he feels like he's inefficient, because the opposite isn't. Yeah. Right? Now that's obviously data driven more so than what he feels, right? So okay. So what's the first thing you see? Low. Yeah, real flat, real low. Yeah. So it is what I told him exactly, is he probably feels like he needs to hit the longer irons higher, right? And so that's the first thing that I would say is that the struggle with that, that's a miss, so I'm going to ignore it for just a second, but that's what happens. One of the guys with you, just a second. You're good. Maybe. So, technically,
all right, so now kind of looking at some of the data from our TrackMan session. This is the driver right here. As you can see, one thing that we looked at was how optimal I was, I guess, compared to what I should be hitting with the numbers. And with the driver, I was not optimal at all. It's kind of hard. It used to be one of my better clubs in the bag. Now I'm just very short with it. 4-iron, I was hitting that okay, you know, a little bit low, as you might have heard in the video. It's okay for me on the course for the most part. Really, it's kind of those middle irons is really where I seem to do the best. Moving down, here's a 7-iron. And now, like I said, I'm not a numbers guru. You know, the numbers that he was giving me, it looked like the average carry was right around 190 on the 7-iron, which, you know, it was kind of surprising because it doesn't always feel like that. It does kind of vary on the course a little bit, but I don't know. At 54, we were at about 117, and then 58, that's the gapping that we were kind of looking at. The current 58 that I was playing was closer to about the same distance. So we're trying to get down, actually. We increased the bounce here, and we're trying to get down to about that 108, I don't know, closer to 105, 108 with the 58 to kind of balance things out. We also did add a 3-wood. It's actually a 4-wood. It's a 16.5 degree 4-wood. That, you know, it was putting me right around 260, and then the new hybrid was right around 235. So with the 4-iron being at right about 215, you know, it gave me that nice 15-yard gap that I needed there. And yeah, if you are good with these numbers, you can interpret them yourself. But you know, it was pretty cool to see him put up, and I'm just trying to familiarize myself with him more. I know one thing: I'm not hitting the ball great, and a lot of these numbers could be a lot better. Got all wrapped up for the day, and as expected, grips was phenomenal. We worked on a couple issues I was having, some gapping issues. New 3-wood, new hybrid, you know, something in that 235 range is about where I was missing. And then we looked at the wedges and kind of got those fixed a little bit too. You know, swing's not perfect, but we're trying to work with it the best that we can. So but yeah, big shout out to those guys. Always happy to go over there. And next I will get on the course, and we'll do an overview of the course that I'm playing every day to practice on, and a little bit of where the game's at. Thanks for checking it out. If you get a chance to subscribe, like, share, whatever, if you want to stay tuned and see how the journey goes, this is the year. I know this is the year. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you. God bless, and we'll see you next time.